really appreciate it. Like I said, it's just really cool hearing your stories, and I'm really looking forward to sharing with our readers.
Just from my perspective, I think there's been an awakening to the weakness of the supply chain. And so, if nothing else, I think the tariffs and this whole dynamic of how this is going down has exposed a significant rift in the manufacturer's ability to ensure product flow and component flow into the manufacturing plants here. I genuinely believe there will be a big resurgence across the country, especially in small parts, which are heavy import stuff, because you can put a lot in a container and it minimizes the freight expense when you do it that way. But I think the small parts business is coming back to America, and I think it's got as much to do with the whole dynamics of the cost of the tariffs, but much more so to do in the fact that manufacturers want to ensure their supply chain is intact.
Our work in technology is really trying to help these companies understand their approach to technology, because they hear a lot of stories about what AI can do and automation and all of that, but those come with a big price tag with some of those things that are going on. But we are helping them understand that there are lower cost solutions in technology that can be just as helpful, especially in the area of data collection and analysis. Again, as you're just getting people information that they can act on the floor. It doesn't necessarily require a major investment. And you can connect some of these monitoring pieces of equipment to your existing machines, and you can get something that's important, and it's still technology. It still helps you as a smaller manufacturer. And so those are the areas that we're working with, because again, our smaller manufacturers, first thing they do is think about, I can't really afford to do all of that, and they're right.
As we talked about on the very beginning of our discussion, when we were mentioning workforce and development and training of the workforce, this is also one of the fields that we are exploring. How do we enhance that target, that objective that we are pursuing of having a more skilled workforce or better trained with the new technologies, by incorporating AI on that training and support for the development of our workforce. And that's where we see also the power of AI on a different field that is purely the manufacturing side or the technical side of it, but the development of people and enhancing their capabilities, and bring that player into the ecosystem to develop the workforce as a support.
It's quite strong. Reynolds has added 500 jobs last year and 300 jobs this year, and a lot of those are sitting actually in manufacturing. So we're growing our factory in Tobaccoville, which is a welcome difference from what we've seen in years past. And what I would say is, because North Carolina is so attractive, the competition is getting hotter and hotter by the day for skilled labor. When I started with Reynolds, the average tenure on the production floor was in the decades, and now we're seeing this drop below 10 years. So not only to attract those individuals, but to retain them. So we're happy to be in NC, and I would say it's quite strong right now.
My comments, the previous panelists' comments resonate a lot with me. We still have a very strong backlog. Labor is at a premium, which works in our favor in so many regards. The tariffs, is creating more confusion and I would say activity in our business and really affecting it in a negative way. Being able to hold prices for any longer than a day sometimes is a challenge. But I am also very optimistic about Carver Machine Works' place and North Carolina's place as well, for all the reasons the former panelists mentioned. The governor in the last 3 weeks mentioned that North Carolina has the largest manufacturing workforce in the southeastern United States. And I think there's great alignment between industry, the educational system, the community college system, to take these young folks and help them offset what we have, and that's an aging population, which is one of the reasons we have the labor constraints that we currently experience. If you couple that with a great tax rate, I think there's a lot of things working. And also North Carolina is just an incredible place to live. And I think all those things, work hand in hand to give us a really bright outlook.
Actually, B&K is really bullish on North Carolina and its potential. Probably the biggest single challenge is the labor pool. The unemployment rate is really 3.7%, which is below the national average, but the population's continuing to grow. There's a lot of good projects happening right now. Life sciences may be on a little bit of a lull, but it was certainly very busy during the recent several years, so it's not a surprise. But the growth of industry in North Carolina is very exciting. This question of what will tariffs do with, North Carolina right on the East Coast there, and Charlotte Douglas International Airport. It's an easy beachhead for folks bringing business to our country, trying to set up shop within our borders. And my understanding is that that airport is within an hour's flight of more than half the country, and a day's drive, for more than half the country. So it really sets up nicely for new business to want to set up shop here and try to incubate business within our borders. So I again would say that B&K is really bullish on the potential for growth in the industrial market.